Hi, I'm Jim Gary and welcome to Penelope's Workshop. This video is a continuation of my 26-year-old motorhome renovation project, and it goes over a few things I finished recently, including finishing touches to the stairs, the kitchen hood, the stovetop gas shutoff valve, and a new propane detector that I put in the stairwell. And please remember, I'm a biologist, not a plumber or a mechanic, and I'm showing you what I did, not what I think you should do. So some of the work I described today includes plumbing for propane inside the motorhome, and if you attempt a similar project, please consult with the appropriate professional first. And as always, I welcome any comments or suggestions you may have. If you found this video interesting, there are links to my other videos in the description below. So please like and subscribe. Now let's get on with the video. So here's the stairwell with all the finishing touches. We put covers on the steps, fabric covers, and we had to rebolt the stabilizer back on. We had to take it off and put it back on because the bolts had to go through this. And then up in the stairwell, I've got the tile on. We've got pretty much everything finished. I even put the aluminum edging back. This has been off of this for several years. And of course we've got our storage spot with stuff in it already. So it came out really nice. If you go under the stair, you can see the stair stabilizer sitting there. The only thing you have to remember about the step stabilizer is that you have to screw it up a little bit before the stairs will retract. So if I tried to retract the stairs right now, they wouldn't go. So you just have to screw the stabilizer back up to below the step, and then it'll go fine. You can actually just move it up a few inches. But of course, if you're driving, you'd want to have it all the way up. So all in all, successful few days worth of work. I've got this stainless steel vent cover, and it goes right above my vent right here. And I can't put it in the way it was probably supposed to go in. So I'm gonna actually build a wooden frame around here and then screw it into that wooden frame and then set it up here and screw the wooden frame up into the ceiling. I think that's the best way to do it. But first I got to get this wiring up out of the way. And as you can see on the corners here, I did a cutout and I put Tygon tubing, glued it onto it so the wire has a safe place to go once I put it up. So I'll get those wires squared away and figure out how to do this. So as you can see, I've got the wire all tie wrapped up to this cable that I had already attached to the wall. And this is just the light that goes out to the light wire that goes out to the hallway. So I'm going to set the thing up there and make sure everything fits right. I think it does. So it sits nicely. It's a little bit of a gap, but this is the stock piece. There was a second piece that slid over it, but I don't need that. It's looking like 1.5 inches square would be good, and I can just screw it onto here and then set it up there and be done with it. So that's what I'm going to do. Now where the bottom of this goes into the hood, there's a little groove in there, but it's pretty wide, and I don't want it to rattle, so I'm going to try. I've slit some small tubing. I think some even smaller would be better, but let's just try this and see. I'm just going to slip these pieces on and take it back out and see if that helps. So here's what it looks like now. Just 4 pieces just to test it. See if it disappears in the groove or not. If it doesn't, I'll get some smaller diameter tubing. So I use this super glue professional liquid by Loctite. This really works well. And I use this accelerant to make it harden faster. So I've got these 4 little bits of tubing. And that's just where it's going to set down, and that'll hopefully make it not rattle. I wish I'd had enough tube to go all the way around, but I didn't. Here's the wraparound for the hood, and then I built this, and it's got screws ready to go. This is going to wrap around the top like this, very tightly, and then I screw in the screws to the ceiling, and that'll anchor this whole thing in really nicely. So I've got it in place. It's in the groove. Don't think it'll move around much. So let me slide the wood frame on it. So putting in these little finishing screws right into the ceiling. So there we are. It's in there. It's solid. It's not going anywhere. If it rattles, I'll fix it later, but I think it's going to be fine. So I'm pretty pleased. That kind of helps finish off the kitchen. Now I just want to get the stovetop in. In the kitchen, this is where this stovetop goes, and I had removed it because I want to change the plumbing, because right now all it's got is this solid copper tube. And since the stovetop's going here and I have a drawer directly underneath there, I wanted to put something in here to catch any drips and maybe further shield the drawer below from any possible leakage. So I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to use some clamps. So I made these clamps, and they'll just screw down, and I'll put one on each side, so 4 of them, and that'll keep it clamped down. But I'm also going to put some double-sided tape underneath so nothing can bounce around. And this is a 3M VHB. I use it a lot. And if you notice over here, there's a wire hanging out here, and that's a spare 12 volt, because the original stove required 12 volts, I guess, to start it up or something, but this one's piezo. So now I'm just going to set this down, try to center it. I need room to put those clips in. Okay, so now the splash pan's there. It's really solid. It's not going anywhere. And I just made these brackets by cutting and bending these this strapping stuff. I have a ton of these. I couldn't buy just a few. I had to buy a case of them, so I've got hundreds of them. So I typically use these for this kind of stuff because you can bend them fairly easily. And they make good brackets. That's not going to go anywhere, and the double stick tape helps. So we're back under the stovetop. This is the 3/8 copper tubing that's coming up from the propane tank. And then when I tried to bend it, I put a kink in it, even though I was using a proper bending tool. So I've got a couple of options. And one of them is I'm going to just try to bend it by hand. I'm going to cut it here, move the flare back there after I cut it, and re-flare it, and then try to bend it this direction, bend it over that way. And then I think I could have the shutoff valve right here. And I think that would work. So the big question is, can I cut this and flare it in this limited access? I really don't want to take my counter off. It took a long time to get it on. So I'm gonna pull this out to here. Let's see if I can't get it cut. Even if I get it cut, I'm not sure I could fit the flaring tool back here, but there. I was able to cut it. So I took off the flare fitting, got to put that there, and now I'm going to see if I can flare it. My flaring tip for my brakes, I've used it for the really small sizes, but it apparently works for a 3/8. It's got a hole here for 3/8. Here's the 3/8 adapter. I've never tried to flare something in it. That wasn't just on the bench. So I want to have the tubing sticking out the same width of this piece here. Seems to be about right. Now I'm going to get this on first. Put that in. I'm going to move the camera over to this side. I think it'll work better. So I'll put the adapter on and then try to get that thing over it. Okay, I've got it on there, the adapter in there, so let's see if we can't get the flare, the first flare going. Okay, it's all the way down. So now I should just take this off. And I just have to remove the flaring adapter here. And what's it look like? It looks pretty good. So now let's see if we can get the second part of the flare done. I think that's about it. I'll take it off. So now I should just loosen this. So it looks like a decent flare. So now what I want to do is I want to try to bend that by hand, but I want it to go that way. And I've got my bending tool, but last time I tried that, I just ended up kinking it. So I'm just going to try to do some really careful bending with my hand. That might be enough. So that's a female flare. The stove itself has a male flare. I just have to screw the valve into the female flare, so the male valve. So I'll screw this in. I'm just going to do it to fit right now. There. So that looks pretty good. And then I bought this, and this is a propane grill extension hose. It's got a female flare on each end, and these are all 3/8" flares, by the way. So I'm going to get it out of the wrapper and see if we can attach it. Now I'm tightening the valve to the tubing from the tank regulator. I don't want to strip the threads. And I have a propane sniffing tool I can use afterwards to check for leaks. So I think this is just about right. Now I'm tightening down the hose flare fitting to the valve, and then I'm going to make sure the gas valve is off. And finally, I attached and tightened the other end of the tubing to the stove, and again, not too tight. And I want to get my detector, but I'm not detecting any gas. Tubing out of the way. So here's the hole on either side. Here's the two screws and a little block of wood so I could paint them black, and they've got a little O-ring underneath them. So I'll drill these two holes. So I was a little worried about this hitting on the pan there, so I've got this flexible conduit I'm going to try to run on there. There. I bought this Dometic stovetop about 3 years ago, and it's a model D21. Sometimes it's listed as a 50216 or 50214. And as far as I can tell, they're not made anymore, but they could be available if you search the web hard enough. There's a lot of variations, including either a black finish or a stainless steel finish. They can come with a wire grate or with a flat cast iron grate. They can have 12-volt ignition, piezoelectric ignition, or battery ignition. And since I cut the opening for this particular stove, it'd be a lot of work to fit a different stovetop in my counter, but I probably will eventually. So I think I figured out why I couldn't get this thing to ignite. So if you look in the manual, it shows under setup, it says connect the propane gas and then connect the 12-volt ignition. And it shows a terminal on the back. And it also shows this block here, which is, I guess, the controller for the ignition. And I had never been able to find this. And under setup, that's all it ever said. Didn't say anything else. I took my stove pretty much apart just to see these terminals. So I took off the back cover here. I took this block off, which is the same one in there, but notice this is all potted here. And there's absolutely no terminal anywhere, but there are wires going to the igniters from here. So I couldn't figure it out. It just made no sense to me. And then I started thinking, well, let me look inside the igniter button and see if I could find some kind of terminal there. So I unscrewed this. And lo and behold, there was a battery in there that was obviously defunct. So I have a new battery to put in, screw that back in, and then I went back into the manual and I went into operation, and lo and behold, 2 pages later, you get into operation, and there it is, changing the battery if you have battery ignition. So here's the stovetop. It's all screwed in. I've got the screw with the little O-ring below it on either side, so it's in there solid. And since I could never get the igniter to work, we're just going to have to be igniting it with one of these instead. So just turn it to light. On it goes. Turn this one to light. And on we go. So the stove will work. I just have to use one of these for now until I can get another stovetop. Or if maybe some of you know why this igniter isn't working, I just can't figure it out. So this is the inside of that end panel, and here's the negative and here's the positive wire. So I'm going to drill the hole somewhere around here, and then I can just surface mount the propane detector. But I definitely want to have that in since we've got gas coming into the cabin. So before I put it in permanently, I want to make sure this isn't controlled by a switch. There it goes. Okay, so that's in. And then the red one, according to the manual, is the positive. So that's going to go in over here. Okay, I can at least test it. So there it says it's on. There. So you can see the backlight went off, but it's still working. So let's turn off these switches and see if any of them have an effect. Nope, they're all off. It's still on. So that's good. We can hook it up this way. Okay, now we have a hole. So there's two mounting options for this. It's got holes for screws. You could just put a couple of screws in there and just set it on there. But it also came with double stick 3M tape, and I found that to be pretty good. So I'm going to start with that. If it ever comes off, it's not a big deal. I'll just Okay, so I got everything squared away here. Nothing can interfere with the drawer, so I can just put the drawer back. And now that that propane detector's been on for a while, it settled down. It was, I think, going through some boot up process. But now it's reading straight zeros all the way across, like I would have expected it should. There's a carbon monoxide light and a propane light. Neither of them are on. And these numbers tell you how much, if you have any at all, you have. And like I said, these things don't beep like a smoke detector. They just beep gently. I'm very pleased with the progress on our Georgie Boy Year 2000 motorhome, and I see the end in sight, finally. I started to put the wheels on and will likely have the motorhome back on the ground in the next month or so. And if you have any suggestions about why my stove igniter doesn't work, please let me know in the comments. It'd be very helpful. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you're interested in similar videos, please like and subscribe. Bye.